Hey YouTube, Alex here from Team Generations, bringing you another deck profile. This time around we're looking at a Dueling Dragons deck profile for one of my favorite clans, Murakumo. This is most recently updated in Butterfly to Moonlight, and came out with support that really fixed a lot of its issues in terms of resource management, some of the constant pressure that it wasn't able to apply before but now can. So really excited to bring this to you guys. I feel like Murakumo is always the clan that remains cheap but still super competitive, perfect for maybe you're, a card player. Vanguard's not your only kind of game, you play Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it is, but you still want a competitive fun deck to play with your friends. I feel like Murakumo's the best kind of clan for that value. Just consistently competitive, but consistently cheap. So yeah, I'm super excited to bring you this deck profile. If you have some of these old cards laying around, you might be able to update it with some of these guys and really bring some fun times on. So let us get right into it and we'll see what this deck can do. Starting off with our grade 3s. Also just want to mention too, if you guys aren't subscribed, most of my viewers are not. It does really help us out. You can actually just message us, you can leave a comment, whatever deck you want to kind of see, we probably have it. There's about 10 members on our team, so looking to roll a little bit more content out in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, thank you for that. If you have not subscribed and have recently done so, thank you very much. So starting off with our first grade 3, this is Dueling Dragon Zentethu. Right, its first skill is during our turn, all of our units with arresters in their card name get plus 5,000. This is great because this is actually a kind of like a free skill. You don't need to use any counterblast or soul blast for that. Just kind of beefing up your entire field really helps a lot. If you have 2 arresters in the same column, it gives plus 10 to that column, so pretty effective. And second skill is act on Van or Rearguard once per turn. If we have a Vanguard with Dueling Dragon in its card name, we can put the top card of our deck into our damage zone and then search our deck for up to 2 cards with the Arrestor in their card names and then call them to Rearguard circle and shuffle our deck. This is really nice because we are actually not taking a damage check, just a heads up. Just want to point that out. But this is really nice because our opponent previously can damage deny us and really stop us from getting a full lockdown turn because of the high cost of some other cards. So this deck really helps us on our first grade 3 turn to get the resources that we may need and we might not have. So very nice in that regard. This card also gets us and fills our field up with 2 extra arresters. Super nice. I mean, getting 2 cards of your choice out from your deck is very, very key. So you're running that at a 4 of. All right, next up, kind of on the fence. A lot of people are on the fence about this card, not me so much. This is Dueling Dragon Zenbaku. Its skill is Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 on the Vanguard circle. You can search our deck for up to 1 card with the rest in its card name and call it to Rearguard circle. We can shuffle our deck and that unit gets an additional plus 5,000 until the end of turn. If right and left arrestor on our Rearguard circle, our opponent cannot ride a grade 3 or greater card from their during his or her next ride phase. So just a heads up, if they are superior calling, they still can do that using some engine. So I think that's where people kind of say, oh, this deck isn't that great. There's so many cards. There's so many decks that do that now, but there's still so many that don't. So, unless you're facing Luard, maybe Lambros or Davos or whatever, maybe a Gear Chronicle deck, if you're not really facing those, it still basically does what you want it to do. You're really locking your opponent down. And this deck is allowing us to enable like constant pressure on them with some really high columns and just that Excel multi-attack. So I really like this card in the deck. I was finding when I wasn't running it that I was just missing that lockdown, that ability to kind of do that. So I'm running it at a 3 of. We hit it most games, I would say. Definitely nice to have and gets us one of our last arresters. Our next grade 3, we are running 3 Dueling Dragon King Zangeki. This skill is on Vanguard circle. If left arrestor is in our front row, this unit gets 5,000, and then if right arrestor is in our front row, it gets an extra critical. The main skill that you're really using this for is if our soul has a Dueling Dragon in its card name, our opponent can only call grade 0 cards from hand to Guardian circle. So this card really allows us to beat down and finish off our opponent. Chances are, they probably won't have a trillion triggers in hand to really guard out. So this is definitely a nice finisher option, and getting that extra critical applies some pressure too. A lot of Excel decks, they allow poke, but this guy, you have to really consider, do you want that extra critical to be taken? So yeah, running that at a 3 of. For our last grade 3, we are running Shirayuki. We're not running any Shirayuki kind of package. This is just a nice card. If we see it, it's great to defend with. Pretty plain and simple. I will just read its skill just because. Ban, rear, or guardian circle when placed. Soul Blast 2. Choose 3 units in your opponent's front row and they get a minus 5,000 until the end of turn. This unit's on Van or rear guard circle. They get a minus 10,000 instead of 5,000. So super important. If you find that you don't have a great hand, you have Shirayuki in there, you can Soul Blast out those 2 to get the minus 10,000 on your opponent's front 3 units. So really cool card. I do like that. Also, when its attack does not hit, we can return 1 from our drops into our hand, but we can't do that. As of the time of this video's recording, it is still limited to 1. We don't know if it's coming off the ban list yet. I don't know if I'm gonna publish this video before that or not, so just want to throw that out there. Going into our grade 2 lineup, we're actually running 4 of this guy. This is Central Arrestor. It does have the Arrestor card name in it, so it can benefit off of Zentethu's ability of gaining 5 extra. Its skill is if it's in the back row of the middle column, this unit can attack the Vanguard from the back row. And if you have a Vanguard with Dueling Dragon in its card name, it gets an additional 5,000 for each of our other arresters in their card name. So this card gets huge and allows you to get an additional attack from the back row. Super nice. I really like it. I'm running it at a 4 of. I kind of always want to have it live behind my Vanguard, so I'm running it at a 4 of. And it has that arrestor name too, so it is searchable. Alright, next up for our grade 2, so we're running Left Arrestor. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have another rear guard with Arrestor in its card name, we get to Soul Blast 1, and then this unit gets 5,000 until the end of battle. Pretty simple, just has to be kind of part of the lockdown combo, right and Left Arrestor. The Soul Blast also kind of gets replaced by another card I'm going to show you in a little bit. So this card just gets super powerful and makes a really nice column in culmination with another card that I will show you in just a little bit. So running that at 4 of. Next up too, we have Right Arrestor. What a surprise, all the arrestors is grade 2s. So on rear guard circle, when placed, if your Vanguard is Dueling Dragon Zenbaku, and you have another rear guard with Arrestor in its card name, we can counterblast 2, put a card from our hand into our soul, and choose one of our opponent's Vanguards, and it cannot stand itself on our opponent's next stand phase. So again, just part of the full combo lockdown. Can get that extra +5 from Zentethu. And yeah, really facilitates what we are trying to do in this deck with that lockdown. So 4 of those. Moving on then to our grade 1s. This card is awesome. This is a new card, Backwards Arrestor. On rear guard circle, when it boosts a right arrestor or a left arrestor, if you have a Vanguard with Dueling Dragon in its card name, you can soul charge 1 and the boosted unit gets an additional 10,000 to the end of battle. So let me do this math really quick. If we attack here, we get an additional 5,000 on him. That's 14. 14 plus 10 is 24 plus 8. We are looking at pretty much a free Soul Blast and a 32k column. This is a huge column. If we hit a front or a crit, whatever it may be, you can boost it up even more. The fact that this guy soul charges after you soul blasted for him helps you avoid any resource issues. Powering up is just super nice. So I'm always kind of putting it behind this guy, not so much my right arrestor. However, you can if you would like to. I just find that the resource regeneration is really nice with this guy. So 4 of, absolute staple. Awesome card. Moving on, this is more of a tech. This is Jamming Impeter. On rearguard circle, at the end of battle that it boosted a Vanguard, we can Soul Blast 1, look at 5 cards from the top of our deck and reveal up to 1 right arrestor or a left arrestor from among them. We can put it into our hand and then shuffle our deck. This is just to kind of search out some of our right or left arrestors. Super nice to just have that ability. If you guys want to replace this too with the grade 3 searcher to get a little bit more ride consistency, you can do that, but I really like this card. I am running it at a 2 of. Next up, we are running a 4 of Stealth Rogue Summoning Jiraiya. His skill on Vanguard is when placed, we have to draw a card, put a card from our hand to the bottom of our deck, and then once per turn, we can counterblast 1, and one of our Vanguards gets 10,000 until the end of turn. We're mainly using it for the once per turn effect of the counterblast 1, our Vanguard gets that extra 10,000. There's not a lot that powers up our Vanguard itself, so this guy really helps with that. If you're trying to have like a beat down, what was it, Zangeki turn, this really helps because now it's 27,000 instead of just the 17,000. So I like him. I'm running it at a 4 of. It also helps us filter our hand too with the Vanguard skill. So yeah, 4 of that guy. On to probably I'd like to say the spiciest part of this build, but I'm running 1 perfect guard crit trigger, or sentinel crit trigger. I'm running 3 draw perfect guards. I'm running 6 regular criticals. Let me pull those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2 fronts and 4 heels. This, I know it looks a little strange. In all my playtesting though, I found that we do benefit both off of the front trigger and the crit triggers. Sometimes we're not in a position to really dump another card from our hand, so I am running just 1 of these to get that little extra. We do need to draw some of our pieces. Like, it's super easy to search like our arresters out, but having that extra draw pressure in the null guards is super effective. So kind of like an odd trigger lineup, I know, but it does work. I mean, I'm having a ton of fun with the deck. I find that the versatility, my opponent doesn't really know what's coming at them. They could see fronts and be like, oh, it's just running fronts, and then boom, he takes it. Next turn, boom, he got hit by a crit. What the heck happened? Thought you were running fronts. So yeah, kind of a little all over the place there, but it definitely does work. And after all the playtesting, I think this is the ideal lineup for me. You know, this is completely up to you though. If you want to, you can change that. And yeah, so that is the main bulk of the profile. Oh yeah, and I'm running this guy as the starter. That is the main bulk of the profile. If you guys are enjoying, please let me know by leaving a like and subscribe. We are now going to get into a couple test hands. I'm just going to show you what the deck can do and what the main goal of it is. Okay, let's get into a test hand here. Honestly, such a fun deck. If, like I said, if you have these cards laying around, you could upgrade it for a couple dollars, or not even. Really make a pretty competitive deck out of this. So yeah, if you are enjoying, please subscribe and let us know what you would change in the deck, if anything, what you are currently running. I know there's a lot of different ways to build this deck. There's no one perfect way. This is just my kind of iteration. So yeah, let's get right into the hands now. Let's draw out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, we're searching for a grade 1. We don't really need this guy. Let's do that. Oh, just a heads up too. When you're calling off Zentethu, you want to be calling this and another arrestor. Don't be calling right arrestor, because this guy has a skill when placed if your Vanguard is Dueling Dragon Murakumo, and we have another rearguard with arrestor, so we need that other arrestor out if you don't have any already. And then you would call him off of this guy. So just a heads up. But what am I putting back? I'm putting back 1, 2. I'm putting back 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. All right, found a grade 1, found a grade 2. Not too bad. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, Mura, like I said, is just kind of the most cost-effective deck, I think. Like the clan, at least. It always tends to be pretty damn competitive, but always at a lower price point. Like Yasuru was doing fine. Been rocking that deck a little bit too. That guy was super cheap. Hugo was really cheap when it first came out. Then it started dominating the meta. Went up a little bit, but even still was nowhere near the price of like Shadows or anything like that. It was performing, I mean, two to three times as good. So I like that Murakumo. At least I don't consider it super helmet. It gives you a lot of different choices. You kind of have to know how you play, especially with some other cards in the clan. So let's get started. Let's draw for turns. Assume we go first. All right, we got this guy. Let's just ride him. Draw skill. We're also going to draw again and put a card to the bottom of our deck. So, oh man, we have all grade 3s now. What do we want? What do we want to put on the bottom? We can honestly call these guys out. So I'm going to put him at the bottom of my deck. And then I'm going to pass turn over to our opponent. He's going to hit us first. Boom. Let's assume that shuts off all other damage and draw. All right. Not ideal, but whatever. Ride him. Yeah, let's use that. Swing at the end of battle that it boosted a Vanguard. We get to Soul Blast 1. Look for either a left or right arrestor, top 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's Soul Blast first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, we actually missed left or right arrestor. Jeez. Feels pretty bad. In that case, obviously, it's better to have that grade 3 searcher, but no big deal. Alright, onto their turn. Say they hit us once. Ooh, Shirayuki, no. 2. Alright, my turn. Stand and draw. Alright, so what do I want to do here? I think I have enough resources to really do the full lock, so I am going to go into it. I'm going to go into Zenbaku first. We're going to get an Excel 2 marker. We're going to draw. Let us use... Yeah, let's use him. I'm going to put him on the Excel 2 just because he doesn't gain really power from anything else, but I'm going to activate a skill. We're going to put the top card of our thing into the damage zone, another one of him. And then if we have a Vanguard with Dueling Dragon in its card name, put the, let's search 2 cards with a rester. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to call out 1. Yeah, I'm going to call out 1. And I'm going to call out number 2. Remember, always call out left arrestor off of him, not right arrestor, because right arrestor has the skill that when it's placed, if it has another arrestor on the field. So we didn't currently have that. Alright, shuffled up. And now we're going to use his skill. Is that what we're going to do? Yeah, let's use his skill. Get to Soul Blast 1. Counter Blast 1. And we're going to search for... I shouldn't even shuffle, dang it. We're going to search for him. And we are going to activate his thing. So not only is our opponent not going to be able to ride next turn from hand, but they are not going to be able to stand. 1, 2. All right. Let's see. I feel like I kind of want to save this for next turn. So I think I'm going to do that, yeah. There's actually an act, you know what, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's create a lot of juice on this turn, an extra +10 to our Vanguard. So let us swing with him first. 1, 2, hit a crit trigger, put it wherever it may be needed. Swing, swing. I like to typically swing with this guy last just because your opponent could forget about it. Like if people don't know about the deck, like obviously this card's been out for a while, but I always find people forget, like, oh yeah, you could attack in the back, so they do all their damage calculations and forget this guy is still alive. So if it's in the back row, this guy gets 1, 2, an extra +10. Yep. Boom. So let's go into next turn then. Let's say we guard, take 1, guard, and we took 1 of them at least. Let's say we go with that too. Boom, front trigger. All right, perfect. Over to us. Stand and draw. Drawing that crit. Hate to see it. Right, now we're gonna go into him. Let's get that over there. Just want to make sure everything is in frame. Sorry if it wasn't. All right, and we're also going to. I should have called him on there. No big deal. So let's get going. Might as well call him there then. All right. Once per turn, we're going to counter blast and give our Vanguard +10. So now this guy is 27,000. Gets an additional crit plus another 5,000 from its own skill. Yeah, let's go. No grade 1 or greater cards from hand. 1, 2, no triggers, feels bad. All right, and then yeah, just swing with the rest of your board. This guy gets an extra 10,000 on there. It's soul charge 1. Oops. This guy swings, get an additional plus 5,000 by soul blasting 1. Alright. Sorry, was wearing the dresser. Yeah. And swing. Yeah, so this is kind of the flow of the deck. This is kind of how you want to play into it. It's not bad to ride this card, but I just figured I had enough resources. I gave myself enough resources to really use the Zenbaku initially. So super fun deck overall. Allows you to have that aggressive control play style. I really like that. It is an Excel deck, so you're still having a bunch of different attacks on your turn. it knows what it wants to do, and I think it does do it well now with these additional support cards. So super happy with the deck. Really fun. I suggest you guys do check it out if you have any interest in Murakumo. Thanks again for watching. If you did enjoy the profile, if you did learn anything, please let me know in the comments, and let me know also by subscribing. Really trying to hit a goal of 30 subscribers by the end of November. So let's see if we can get there. Thanks guys, this is Alex from Team Generations signing out.